In this video, we are going to talk about customer satisfaction as a metric. Hi there Ninja, welcome back to my channel. This is Rhea once again and you're watching Call Center Ninja. I share real stories and tips to help you begin, enjoy, and survive your call center lifestyle. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing by clicking the red subscribe button down below. And if you have already subscribed, thank you so much. I received some requests on the comment section about this type of video. They want me to share my experience about different metrics in the call center. So I am sharing this with you right now so that everybody would get a couple of tips or some ideas on how to go about each metric. And for this first Understanding Metrics episode, we are going to talk about customer satisfaction. So customer satisfaction is the measure of how satisfied your customer is with the service you provided. And since you are taking calls or you're doing this over the phone, then it's customer satisfaction over the phone. There can be a lot of variations for this, but a lot of call centers call it CSAT or customer satisfaction. So it depends on whatever tool your center uses as to when you will receive the survey or when the customer gets to answer the survey or the CSAT survey. For some call centers, you will get the survey result right after your call. For some, it may take days because it's through email or it's through text or voice message or voicemails. So in my experience, all our calls were recorded. And we wouldn't exactly know whether we will have a CSAT survey or not. So we had to do our best in each call that we had. Our customers would get to answer the survey right after the call if they chose to answer the survey. And if they did answer the survey, we, the agents, would know right away if we had a CSAT survey. And it would just be after a few seconds or so. So again, not all calls have CSAT surveys. So it was very random, and if you really did your best in that call, then the customer would most likely give a survey. If you provided a terrible service, then the customer would also likely give you a CSAT survey, but probably a failing score. So that was my experience back then. Although customer satisfaction should actually be the same all throughout the entire company, somehow, when you think about it, customer satisfaction rating or the survey that would be given to you is mainly subjective because it will depend on how the customer will rate you. Ideally, if you did well, if you provided the best or excellent service, then of course your customer will give you a high customer satisfaction rating. But if you provided a terrible service, then your customer will likely give you a failing survey or a DSAT, dissatisfaction survey. But then again, there are also times that even though you did your best, you followed all the procedures, you felt that you have provided excellent customer service, but then the customer still did not feel that on her end, the customer probably felt that you did not give your all, you will still be given a low score or a so-so rating if the customer wants to give you that kind of rating. On the other hand, even though you felt that you provided a terrible service and even though you did not follow the procedure, the customer technically doesn't know that, but the customer just feels like giving you a high score or feels like you did your best, then the customer can give you a high rating or high customer satisfaction survey. So in most cases, you don't really get to control the score, but you can do something about it, or you can do something to make sure that you get a perfect CSAT all the time, if not most of the time. Of course, when you are assisting a customer over the phone, you will have to focus on the overall customer experience and everything that you can do to resolve the customer's concern. And not just that, but also the way you speak with the customer, your tone of voice, Did you empathize? Were you polite? Were you raising your voice? Were you mad, or were you also irate? Were you an irate agent when the customer is an irate customer? So it also affects the entire customer experience. There's one thing that you should not forget, that you should always remember, and that is how to compute your customer satisfaction rating. And as early as training, for sure your trainer will tell you how you are rated based on CSAT or customer satisfaction. Like in my experience, we were rated based on 3 factors. I already forgot what those factors were, but just 3. For example, politeness, your ability to resolve the concern, or the overall experience or entire customer experience. So the customer had to rate us 5 for each factor or each category, and it will be averaged, and that would be our final CSAT score. So if I am the agent and I know how to compute the CSAT score, and I know exactly what the factors are that will affect the customer's rating for CSAT, then I can at least control my CSAT score. Or if something will go wrong, I know that I can dispute my score if possible. In some cases, you will probably have 5 factors. Politeness, were you able to resolve the issue? Were you able to empathize? Were you friendly or were you accommodating? And the overall customer experience. So it depends on the call center, it depends on your account. Probably there are also accounts that don't have those categories or factors, and they just rate the customer experience based on the overall call. So it's probably just 5 or 1. It's probably just 100 or 0. So it depends. Now, it's your job as a customer service specialist to understand how you are rated based on customer satisfaction surveys. So if you know that, then you know what to focus on. If the categories are, for example, politeness, or were you friendly and accommodating, and the overall experience, then you should know that you should be polite the entire time, and you should be friendly or accommodating the entire time, and you should be giving a great customer satisfaction or customer experience the entire time. If you notice, there are several factors that might not be included in the categories for customer satisfaction surveys. So again, there are still a lot of room for errors, and in some cases, depending on the guidelines of your account, your score might not be disputed if you get a failing survey or a failing score. So in that case, just do your best to hit all the categories or all the criteria for judging for you to get a perfect CSAT or customer satisfaction rating. Now, you also have to remember the most common things that customers do not like. And when they experience these things during the call, they will likely give you a low CSAT or customer satisfaction rating. Number 1, customers do not like waiting for too long. So if there's too much dead air, fillers, there's too much awkward silence during the call, customer will likely feel that it's not a great customer experience, because that shows that you probably don't know what you are doing because it's taking you too long to resolve the concern. And number 2, agent who does not really resolve the call. Obviously, the customer is calling to resolve a concern or an issue. So if you ended up not resolving the call at all, whether or not it's your fault, whether or not it's a policy or procedure thing, then you might get a low satisfaction rating. In which case, you can dispute if it's a policy thing or a procedure thing. But then again, it still depends on the guidelines of your account. Number 3, if you always place the customer on hold for the entire call or entire experience, you will likely get a low satisfaction rating. Number 4, if you are rude or you are condescending, you're sarcastic, that's a surefire way for you to get a failing score. So always be polite, friendly and accommodating even though the customer is unreasonable or even though the customer is having a bad day and she or he is taking it all out on you. And number 5, sometimes the disappointment of the customer towards the company, not necessarily to you personally, can also be taken against you at the end of the call, even though it's not really part of the questions for the CSAT or customer satisfaction survey. Sometimes the customer just wants to take it all out on you, and unfortunately you're the agent, and even if the customer doesn't really have anything against you, customer just wants the company to know what the disappointment the experience is or was, then it might still be taken against you. So you might still get a low satisfaction rating. I know sometimes you can't control it, but consider asking your supervisor for a dispute if it's possible. Wait, there's more. Number 6, if you are beating around the bush, long-winded explanations, you are not direct to the point, then the customer doesn't like that because you're just wasting the customer's time. You're just repeating the explanation all throughout the call, but you're not getting to the point. And lastly, number 7, if the customer feels like you do not understand what he or she is trying to tell you, like if you're asking irrelevant questions or questions that are not related to the concern. And so that's about it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this content, please don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't. And remember, I have videos every Wednesdays and Fridays. On my next video, I will talk about another metric. So see you on my next video. Take care and